Hi guys, it's Joey or Rowan. I'm sorry if you can hear noise in the background. The neighbours decided to start drilling at 8 AM this morning and I haven't stopped currently. I've waited as long as I can, but I can't wait any longer. I have plenty to do today and I really wanted to get this video out because it's important to me. So apologies if you can hear it, apologies if I have to pause because I can't hear myself think. It is that bad that I can hear it through double glazing and with my headphones on, my music on. So I don't know if the speakers on the webcam will pick it up, I hope not, but I thought I would get this video done. So this video is Samhain looking forward. So yeah, before I start I'm just going to say I think this is really important, and I wrote it all down because I found it that important, so if I'm looking down that's why, okay? So Samhain is a Sabbath of duality, of life and death, of endings and beginnings. Often it is easier to associate this Sabbath with what was, the past, the dead, and memory. So our focus is easily back on Samhain. Even the overt symbolism of Samhain, or even Halloween, you know, from a non-pagan perspective, reminds us of what was, so skeletons and ghosts. And a lot of people sort of focus on that more easily, more readily, and perhaps more than the balance. But equally important is to remind ourselves that Samhain is the point of balance between death and rebirth, what was and what will be. Samhain is the witch's new year, and we should emphasize the new as well as the old, where we are going as well as where we have been. The witch's new year has all that potential as well as memory. We should be focusing on the beginning as well as the ending. Oh my god, I think it might have finally stopped. Sorry, right, I've got such a headache because of this stupid drilling. This is important for us as human beings as well as witches, to acknowledge the balance of the energies within us as well as those all around us. To acknowledge one without the other is to unbalance ourselves, our views, our actions, our energies. The world around us is not focused on one aspect, it is the wheel, ever turning, ever balanced. The divine is everything in duality, God and goddess, life and death, light and dark. Spoke too soon, still going on. I'm really trying to focus on this because this is really important to me, and I think it's something that's so easily forgotten. We look all around the world with this, and if we are not watching properly, it's easy to focus on the death aspect of this time of the year without focusing on the life aspect. People sometimes get depressed in winter as a result. They see that everything is dying off. Well, not everything is dying off. Not everything is going into hibernation. There are evergreens. There's a reason for, evergreen at Yule. Things are going to sleep just to hibernate, to continue as part of their cycle. It's not, the end of everything's cycle. Yes, it is the darker half of the year in that the light wanes and wanes until Yule and then grows longer again. But we mustn't focus on one and not the other. We mustn't focus on what was and forget what can be. We mustn't focus only on the death aspect and not on the life aspect because it's unbalanced. Our energies are really important, the way we view the world, the way we embrace the world. The world is often skewed in our perception of it. The world is the way it is, and the way we see it is how we connect to it, how we feel about it, right? So if we get depressed or think Samhain is only about death, we completely miss the point, really. So how can we look forward and as well as back and remain balanced at Samhain? So here's some ideas, some of my thoughts. When we look back and honour our ancestors, We must honour the fact that we are here in the present day because of them. We are, however, not them. We live in the here and now, and we should not lose sight of that. We cannot be our ancestors, and nor would they want us to be them. They lived, died, worked, played, invented, and so forth to give us the quality of life that we enjoy today. We should embrace that fact and thank them dearly for it. We should then also consider that someday we are going to be somebody's ancestors, and that as that is the fact for most people. Even if we're not related, maybe that's the best way. Even if we're not blood ancestors, we're still ancestors. So we should try and affect the world around us and embrace change in the world around us and engage with the present time to leave a better tomorrow for our ancestors, our descendants, by blood or not. To ignore the fact that we live now and not then is skewed. Things have evolved, things have come forward, things are ever flowing. We cannot go back, no matter how much we wish we can, and we often look back with rose-tinted glasses. We live in a much safer time for witches, in general. Anybody like proclaiming themselves to be a witch back in the day, and they would have seen it as a negative thing. For the connotation was negative. The positive is midwife or cunning folk. They didn't see themselves as witches, because witches was the negative. Witches was the hurting people. And we should embrace the world we live in. If we are living in the world we live in and, ever looking backwards, we are not acknowledging the gifts which we have been given by our ancestors. And we need to honour everything they gave us, honour where we are now, and try to affect the world around us. Samhain is a time when we cast off the last year and all those things which are negative and no longer serve us. These can be bad habits, behaviours, memories, even people. I suggested before the burning spell with the cauldron. So that's Samhain, which is when you write 3 to 5 things that you wish to be rid of. You in black on a white piece of paper, small piece of paper. You cross them out, negating them, and then you burn it in the cauldron to be rid of, to destroy by fire those negative habits, whatever. What we need to remember with this is that as we destroy the negative, unnecessary hindrances to our lives, we must proactively seek positive experiences to replace them. The cauldron is a symbol of death and rebirth. From the ashes of those things we burned, we must rise. We must grow new life and positivity. Now, life in the energy sense. We must grow new habits. We must grow new behaviours. We must grow new actions. We must seek to better ourselves. Because that is what a witch should seek to do. I suggest 2 lists, one to burn and one to keep for yourself as a reminder of the things you wish to accomplish in the oncoming year, and pledge yourself to the divine with that list. So it's about the balance of those 2 lists. So if you said on one hand that you wanted to stop smoking, for example, then on the other piece of paper you would go write some ways or your plan of how you plan to do that. For example, there are many, 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 many variations. That's just one. Okay? And Samhain is a really, really wonderful time to make promises to yourself and the divine, because the veil is thinner. The veil being thin is a wonderful time to perform divination. Now this is the final point. I haven't written this down because I can talk to you about divination without worrying that I'm not remembering something I thought was important. Because the veil is thinner, it is easier, more potent to connect with divine, with spirit, to gain insights into the upcoming year. And Samhain is a really good time to perform divination for the oncoming year. Another really good time for doing this is on your birthday. But in a general sense, Samhain is a great time to get a divination reading for the overview of the upcoming year, of things you are going to be taught, of lessons you need to learn, things you need to focus on, things you need to be rid of. And you should always perform divination within the safety of your caste circle. And you should perform it at the end of your ritual, when you have already said that you only invite anything in if you are inviting anything in. I wouldn't. I've said that before. I honour without calling. Benign spirits. Spirits who have pure intentions, who mean you no harm. So, types of divination you could use: pendulum, tarot, runes. If you're a little bit further along down your path, you might wish to scry. My preferred method has always been tarot. There's always been something about it. For some reason, me and runes, in a divination sense, don't get along. Me and runes, in magic working, we click, but not for some reason. I don't know why it looks so orange. The light is going weird. Okay, and the drilling has started again. Oh, I'm going to have such a headache by the end of today. I'm sorry, guys. This is totally throwing me off. So, me and tarot have always connected more than any other sense of divination, and it's just personal preference. I just see the images, they speak to me, I get the messages clearer. It's just trying and finding out what you connect with. And that could be something you look into in the oncoming year if you're not, if you haven't been, or if you're new. And if you don't wish to do some sort of divination, if you don't feel comfortable yet, that's entirely your choice, and that's fine. And you can just do something like writing the things down that you wish to accomplish this year. That's great. That's a positive experience. So divination is a really great thing that you can achieve at Samhain for insight. Oh gosh, this drilling. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay. Okay. So the point of this video is to remember at Samhain that there is a balance at Samhain. It is easy to get caught up in what was at Samhain. The imagery is there, the connotations are there. The first thing that most people say about Samhain in its defense, like when witches feel the need to defend themselves, because some people are like, well, you have all these evil images, and it's like, it's not about that, it's about honouring the dead, which is why there is this and this, and that's the go-to reason, right? The honouring your ancestors. And sometimes we don't forget, but we don't emphasize enough that it's not just about what was, it's about what will be and what is. We walk the line as witches, or we should, and we should aim to, between the balance of light and dark, between the balance of life and death, and we acknowledge the cycles of nature. If you look outside, it is easy to get caught up in the fact that life seems more dormant, And that's okay. To acknowledge the energies of this time of the year is a good thing. It doesn't mean everything is, you know, gone. It doesn't mean everything is dead. It doesn't mean it's not an infinite, it's not a definite, it's not a one or the other. It is both. It is always both. There might be the strength and weakening of different bits at different part of the year. For example, this is the darker half of the year. Light sort of fades down, and this would be light over here, fades down, and then the darkness, and then you balance back out again as time, you know, goes on. That's just the wheel of the year. It's just a cycle like everything else. But we have to remember the positivity and the negativity. We have to, when we look at destroying the negativity within ourselves and without of ourselves, we have to remember that if we are going to truly destroy the negative behaviors, actions, habits, etc. within ourselves, we have to go and replace those with different behaviors. There's no point in saying I'm not going to overeat anymore without putting a positive thing on it, like I'm going to learn X amount of new healthy recipes which are delicious and will help me, because it's so often easier to focus on rather than that, you know. I know I look crazy, but I'm just trying to put a simplistic spin on what I think is often a difficult and in-depth I'm so sorry if you can hear it. Difficult topic to really fully embrace and acknowledge, and we have to embrace both sides, because you cannot look back all the time. You'll fall over. You keep looking behind you, you're going to fall in the present. You keep looking forward without looking back or in the present, you're wishing your life into something else. You're wishing away, you're not living. So you have to embrace who you are now, who you were, and who you want to be. Each of those three things, the triple things, triple goddess, is part of the process, is part of the cycle. Who I was is not who I am. Who I am is not who I will be, but I have been and will be all these things. I embrace who I was. I learn from my mistakes. I learn from my memories. I take these things and apply them into modern situations and try to be a better person tomorrow than I was yesterday. I aim for things. I aim for goals. I seek out the path which the goddess wishes me and the god wishes me to walk. I am not anybody but myself. I can only be myself in this time, in this space, in this body. I can embrace and honour everybody who went before me, and I can embrace and honour all those who will go after me by my actions. I can honour those who were before in their sacrifice and their lives and the way they lived them, and realise that the way they lived them and the way that they lived and died, etc., allowed me to be in this time now, to live as I should live, to affect the world around me, not to pretend like all I am worth is to go back and live like them. It is to affect the world around me, to engage with the world around me, to try and better it for the people who come after me, to try and lead by example. So I'm going to leave it there because it started again and it's going to drive me crazy, and I don't want to be at all negative in this video, and I'm just trying to center and chill. I think I'll have to listen to music if this carries on for much longer, because it's now been 2 hours of pure drilling. So, as we come up to Samhain, let us embrace what was, what is, and what will be, because we are children of the goddess, who is a triple in nature. We are children of the god, who is dual in nature. We must be all things and not look back and not look forward to the exclusion of the other. Many blessings.